It is the great Sophia Jurksztowicz from NESN. Hello, Sophia.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy. Greg, you booked us like Sunday, right? I think we talked about you want to come on tomorrow's game. I'm so glad I'm talking today. I have so much to say, and I'm not going to hold back. So let's go.
Okay. Who do you find yourself most angry at this morning? Officials, Bruins players, Jim Montgomery, Florida? Go at it.
Toronto for sure. The officials, absolutely. This is a best of 7 series, and everyone is arguing after that that Boston had one shot on goal in the third after that Sam Bennett, tying it up. And I get it. That's why it's a best of 7. The best team will win the series. But yesterday, even Edmonton outshot Vancouver, I think something like 44-18. They still won. They lost. So Vancouver won. This is why you got to let the players win. We've seen teams be outshot a million times. We've seen other teams outplay them. But when the refs get in the way 2 days in a row, 2 games in a row without, or the officiating rather, the higher officiating of the league, without getting an angle or not seeing an angle or whatever you want to call it on the sucker punch, then that guy ends up scoring the tying goal. You're just in the way and you're not letting them play, and it's annoying.
Yeah.
Sophia, do you think that Monty is coaching for his job right now? Are these players playing for Monty's job? And if so, because it seems like the players do respect him. They do like him. Jeremy Swayman said that he trusts Monty with his life. Do you think that if they fall tomorrow night that he's out of a job?
You guys asked me this round 1. I think ahead of the first game even, or maybe whatever, after the first or second one. And I said, no, not at all. Like they might keep the round 1 loss if they had one in their back pocket. I think that was what I said. Yeah. Now I feel a little differently about it. I feel like it would be, I don't know. I mean, I think it still would be too soon. They got past round 1, they slayed the dragon. But now it does sort of feel like that, the narrative. I don't think the players are playing for him. They're playing for them, for him, of course, but that's not their motivation in this one. It's moving on and beating Florida. And they do like him. They love him. Like they really do. And we've seen him bring out the best in some players that we didn't know had more in them, or we thought maybe they could, depending on the coach or how they played. Heinen, one of them, he coached him in college. And obviously he just joined this year with Monty. But Frederick and other guys, like he's just a great players coach, and I think he deserves to stay. But at this point, it is feeling a little dicey.
I mean, it just seems like the stuff that they did so well in Game 1 down there, they're not doing. And we've been talking about getting the puck. I don't care if it's in the neutral zone or if it's in Florida zone. You're coughing the puck up over and over. Like we were talking earlier about Charlie McAvoy. He has the most giveaways in the NHL playoff wise currently. They are just not doing the things that they can do to win these games.
No, it is really frustrating, and you're right. Watching, them lose the blue line, so to speak, and just not be able to defend it, and along the wall, and not keeping it in or not clearing it. Like their penalty kill is so good. Obviously, the numbers now based on Game 3 when Florida scored 4, a little different, but like the penalty kill is so good. It's just you can't rely on that, and like you said, they're doing simple things, or things that you think would be simple that they're not able to do. Like you said, clear the puck, defend the blue line, cough it up, keep it in. And at the end of the day, if Florida wins, this best of 7 series for those reasons, you can move on. But when it's, and I don't want to be that person who's like, oh, that's the call. It was a bad call and they would have won otherwise. Maybe they wouldn't have. But the point is that the skill of the other team is the deciding factor, not the officiating. And I think in a best of 7 series, the best team wins. So Bruins keep playing the way they are, which isn't good, and not getting shots on net isn't good, especially against Bobrovsky, who I don't know how you guys feel about him, but his head coach Paul Maurice said his numbers aren't good. Like when you look at the stats, they don't look like he's the greatest goaltender, but he makes the right save at the right time. But I mean, he bobbles the puck. He doesn't know where rebounds are. I don't know why they're not shooting more at the net, anything they can, and creating a little bit more chaos there too.
Sophia, you just talked about a little of it, but I want to kind of dive into it. And I know you maybe don't agree with the shots on goal, disparity, and this is why Florida's up. But the Bruins have 79 and the Florida Panthers 146. Why is there such a giant disparity between
It's double.
Yeah, and
Almost.
I know maybe you might not agree with it, but I think more shots means more opportunities to score goals. But why is there this major disparity between the two? Is that a coaching thing or is that a player thing?
Well, first of all, great question. Second of all, I do agree with it. Like the shot disparity over time means a lot. I'm just saying there's in a game sometimes there's a fluke or the better team ends up losing. And in the case of the Florida Panthers, they have been the better team. I don't want to take anything away from them and what they're able to do. Shut the Bruins down, so on and so forth. So for sure, over the course of several games, that really does matter. And they're so good at suffocating. The Florida D just suffocates the Bruins. First of all, unforced errors on the Bruins' part we just talked about. So you're not helping yourself with that when you're not able to clear it, when your entries aren't as good. And Florida's entries are great. Their dump and chase game, they're able to win battles behind the net. They're able to win battles along the wall. They're fast, and they just have more ozone chances. The Bruins are trying to say the same thing. One, they have their unforced errors, and two, Florida's D and just the way they play defensively is suffocating them. So yeah, you want to see them try different things, which we saw Toronto obviously end up losing, but we saw Toronto kind of change their approach to getting in their offensive zone midway through the series. So you'd like to see the Bruins try to figure that out, and if it's not working, it's not working. But I guess we'll have to see what they come up with in Game 5.
Do you have any inside scoop when it comes to Brad Marchand, and how difficult do you think it'll be for him when you're talking about a possible elimination game to be good to go tomorrow?
Oh, man, I think it's going to be really difficult. No insight in terms of his timeline, just, what everyone's saying in day-to-day, upper body. I forget the exact stats, but we aired it on NESN. It was something like 2010 was a Game 7 in 2010 was the last time Brad Marchand missed a playoff game. So other than yesterday. So obviously a very long time, 14 years. And yeah, this guy, you guys know this. You've seen him, you've watched him, you've seen him evolve to he is last when there's an optional skate, he's one of the last guys on the ice. It doesn't have to be. He deserves his rest. Unless his body's dealing with something, he'll take the option. But this guy loves this game so much and is on practices, optionals, whatever, you name it, staying, working out longer. He wants to be there. And as you guys know, he drags the team into the fight sometimes when they need it. And if he's out, I think it's going to be very painful for him. But, what are you going to do? It happened.
Sophia, are we going to find out that McAvoy's fighting some injury because he hasn't looked right?
I wonder that myself. And obviously this, the plethora of injuries on all sides, all teams come out after a team gets eliminated. You hear it all the time. So let's just put it this way. I don't know. I don't have any inside information there. If they say, if they lose this round and if they say he's been dealing with something, I'm not surprised. I don't think you guys would be either. But no, I have no insight there. And I don't want to say you'd hope. You don't hope, but something's up with the pucks, and you think there might be a reason behind that.
Sophia, when you look at these games and just the way that the Bruins, it looks like they have their compete level is basically on E. Is this something that when you look at it, is it like a coach-related thing and him not pushing the message of, hey, here's what we need to do. We got to make sure that we're, aggressive, foot on the gas, forechecks, back check, or is it more of a player's maybe just, I don't know, running out of gas or not taking the message? But I question, if you're that tired in the playoffs, doesn't that seem like
right.
What is he not doing to condition them during the regular season?
You think it's conditioning?
I don't. That's why I'm asking Sophia. Is it a condition? Is it just a compete level?
Why does Jim Montgomery have to tell Derek Forbert not to leave guys wide open in front of the net and while he's skating figure eights behind the net? How is that Jim Montgomery's
No, I'm
obligation?
wondering about, and that's why I was asked Sophia, because she's in there. Is it like a compete level message that they're not getting?
I mean, it is, again, this is a mystery because we see, we know what happened last year. This year, they're at the top of the league, one of the top teams in the league. And then you question some of, like you guys said, their effort and their energy, even in the first series, their execution of how they come out against the opposing team. And you're like, okay, but first, obviously Toronto was up against it down 3-1. And you're like, yeah, you can't manufacture desperation. I get it, blah, blah, blah. But other teams in the first round were able to get series done, in 4-1 in 5 games, right? You would think at this level too, you don't, coaching matters, motivating, saying the right things, doing the right things. But at this level, these guys shouldn't need a reminder of, how to start a game and what energy to bring. So I wouldn't put it on that. Of course, there are different coaching styles. I don't know if you guys saw, there was this viral video that went off when Sheldon Keefe, the ex-coach of the Leafs now, Game 7, his kind of pregame speech was, according to Leafs fans, was very lukewarm. He was like, hey, we had fun. We got here. Good for us. Yeah. And then Craig Berube came in and was like, this is our effing building or their building. We're going to steal the cup from them, whatever, motivated them in a different way. These little things matter. I don't see it falling all on Jim Montgomery, though, and I know that's a very fair narrative for fans who pay a lot of money to support this team. They're wondering. But it's weird. It's like once the pressure's on, once the playoffs start, once this matters, they just seem to clam up and tighten up. And I don't know if that's coming from the coach and the energy, if it's coming from the pressure that they put on themselves, but it doesn't add up for sure.
Well, you got to go down there and win in their building now tomorrow night, and or you go home and you're on the golf course. So,
is there any belief though? I mean, I know you talked about it, Sophia, but do you honestly believe watching them play that they can turn this thing around?
I mean, of course, I believe they can get the next game, and you've got to have that next shift, next goal, next game mentality. Like I said, it's clear that in certain elements, Florida is the better team, and there's no problem. Like, I have a different energy and a different attitude when you get beaten by the better team because they outplayed you. And yes, and they did. I mentioned that stat in the third period about only getting one shot in goal, blah, blah, blah. It's just when certain calls go certain ways. And guys, we're not even, listen, the Jacob Lauko goalie interference from Game 3, they scored on that power play. Like, we're talking about calls not just yesterday that have been kind of egregious or you're scratching your head throughout the whole series, and that adds up. Even if you kill that penalty, your men are tired, so on and so forth. So,
well, I think it is double. I think, if you want to just look at the numbers, I think it's close to double the penalties have been given to the Panthers over the Bruins. So, I mean, you can make that argument.
Right. But you could also make the argument.
But that argument, just so that people don't read me the wrong way, the argument isn't that it's because of the penalties that the Bruins are losing. No, the Panthers are the better team. It's just frustrating when you want to see them play it out and see them, win the right way and lose because they deserve to lose. And that's my only takeaway. But yes, I do think the Bruins definitely can win another game. It's just in the long run, even if they were to get past the series, do they have what it takes against the remaining teams left? And that's the question too.
But couldn't you make the argument, Sophia, that the Bruins are the better team because
of the goaltender?
Well, no, because before the series started, it was the same way we did with Toronto. Didn't the Bruins beat them all season long?
Yeah, they did. They swept the series, but it's like playoff hockey is such a different brand and it's such a different type. Like David Pastrnak, he's getting, I don't want to use the word double team, but like they're all over him, and that's what part of the reason they put Jake DeBrusk on that line, give him speed, give him options. And the Panthers have so many offensive weapons. Like when you look at their power play and how they move the puck and how fast they are, it's just different hockey in the playoffs because of the style, because of the roughness, because of the hits, and because of the way you can shut down your superstars. And the Bruins are great in the regular season, but even last year when it comes to the postseason, there's this grit and this ability to, I don't know, power through or just we saw Charlie McAvoy lay a big hit. You need that a lot. And teams like the Florida Panthers have that edge, have that grit. They're pesky. They're down your throat. They're getting away with little things because they know how to do that. And it just doesn't translate. That skill, that style just doesn't translate in the postseason.
And the Bruins, it's 2 years in a row that you could argue that they have been unable to do that. So,
yeah, hence Andrew Peak and hence Pat Maroon being added, right? And last season, Tyler Bertuzzi. It's this kind of this grit and obviously skill as well. You need that offensive talent, which if you look at the Panthers roster and who they have, even someone, and I hate to say it, like, Sam Bennett, he's annoying, he's gritty, he's a bit dirty, but he puts the puck in net. Barkov's goal was unbelievable, and they have options. When you're on the power play, you're like, damn, any of these guys, like, don't let them get the puck. Whereas with the Bruins, you're seeing, Pasta got that goal, which is amazing, but you're like, okay, David Pasternak's probably going to shoot it, so they cover him. It's just different, that the identity there, and unfortunately, regular season hockey records just don't translate in the postseason.
Well, Sophia, I wish we were talking about a different result and that the Bruins were in a different situation. But as always, we love having you on the show. So thank you for taking the time this morning.
No problem, guys. I'm actually I haven't been traveling. I'm heading to Florida today for Game 5. So I'll keep you posted.
Good luck, Charm.
Yeah.
Enjoy the weather.
I hope so. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.